Assalamu alaikum. This was a little abrupt. I thought Anzar will dazzle us with his wisdom first a little bit. So, how many people are there on this planet? Yes? दुनिया की आबादी इस वक्त कितनी है? 7.5 actually. So, human beings tend to procreate kind of rapidly. It's, it's 7.5 billion. And what percentage of them get to go to universities? So the global average is around 5%. What's the average in Pakistan? All right, it's around 1%. And that too is an inflated figure because HEC needs their budget, right? So this is a bit of a tradition at Habib. When we request the incoming class to stand up, just the students. Can the class of 2021 stand up, please? Right? Good. So you are in that less than 1%, and the reason I have requested you to stand up is to turn around and thank the people who have made this possible, your parents, your guardians, or whoever has accompanied you. So thank you, especially the ones who are sitting, not the ones who are standing, right? So you can sit down. This is, people use it pejoratively कि higher education में खास तौर पर relatively interesting and decent looking institutions like Habib are elite. This is a term that is used. It is elite, right? It's less than 1% of people, right? So no matter which university you are in, and how it is looking in Pakistan, it's an elite endeavor. Very few people in the world get to do it. In Pakistan, even less so, right? So this is the humbling thought that I wanted to start this conversation with you today. The other vote of thanks, which is not possible to do for everybody, but the ones who are making it possible in a leadership role, and I want to acknowledge them, and I would request them to stand up when I call their name. And I want parents and students to start familiarizing themselves with them. Are our founding leaders or academic leaders who are sitting right here. I hope they have been seated in the front row. So I'll start with Dr. Asif Aslam, who is the Dean of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. Thank you, Dr. Saab. Dr. Shahid Sheikh. He's out of the country, right? So he has a very busy next week. So I hope he's coming back. Dr. Shahid Sheikh is the Dean for Science and Engineering, School of Science and Engineering. But representing him is the Assistant Dean of the school, Dr. Anzar Khalik. Next is the first faculty member who started this all. 3 years before students came, he arrived from America, Dr. Noman Naqvi. He's the Director for Comparative Liberal Studies. Dr. Fahad Ali, right? इनकी वजह से Dr. Ishrat of IBA अभी तक हमसे नाराज हैं because he was at IBA and we convinced him to come here. He heads our largest program, which is this, Social Development and Policy. Next is Dr. Aaron Mulvaney. Aaron is a founding faculty member, joined us from fresh out of University of Pennsylvania, and I met him for the first time in New York, and so he's been in Pakistan for 4 or 5 years now. Then it's Dr. Waqar Salim. He heads our computer science program. जैसे कि IBA हमसे नाराज है फहद की वजह से, FAST इनकी वजह से नाराज है. Right? Then it's Dr. Sarah Humayun. Sarah is the co-director for our Arzu Center. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. And she just recently crafted a very interesting comparative literature minor, just in time for the new class. Then the two people that you will be, running in a lot to, so you better be nice to them. Dr. Shah Jamal Alam, right? He's the director for academic systems. It's up to you whether he sends you a good news or bad, because he heads the registrar's office. So he controls all the grades. And then Yasmin Bano. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of her. She is largely responsible to assemble this wonderful group here today, right? Thank you so much. And university thanks you, and all the students and incoming class is grateful. All right. So this is an interesting shift. So we used to largely have either not presentation or obviously English was the major language. This year we thought in celebration of a lot of literature which is being promoted at Habib, and also to engage with perhaps the most interesting thoughts that one can find in Diwan-e-Ghalib regarding personal endeavor. So this presentation essentially is going to bookend in 2 ash'ar of Ghalib. This visual, those of you who watch Game of Thrones, who does? Right? A few of them. This is actually from Dothraki Sea, right? This is where Khaleesi came from. Yeah. No, anyway, I'm not sure it is from, but it looks exactly like that. So this is for a class of 2021. So this dusra qadam, right? So whatever you've done, you're 17, 18, 19 years old on average, was the pehla qadam, right? Metaphorically, in which you had, as we just thanked them, your parents, your guardians, your supporters to hold hand. I am here to welcome you in the dusra qadam. And that's where is the full scope of, or full context of the dusra qadam, right? ये गालिब की बड़ी मशहूर गज़ल है, कहते हैं ना देंगे हम दिल अगर पड़ा पाया, दिल कहाँ के गुम कीजिए हमने मुत्ता पाया, इश्क से तबीयत ने जीस्त का मज़ा पाया, दर्द की दवा पाई, दर्द ला दवा पाया, right? ये उस गज़ल का वो शेर है जो उसने हज़फ कर दिया था, which perhaps is one of his greatest shares, right? Ghalib bin Ghalib, नाजुक मिजाज आदमी थे, so he didn't like one technical flaw in this share, which I'm going to ask some of you, Asif Saab, not you, or Afzal Saab, not you, but with others. But nevertheless, this is unbelievable, right? है कहाँ तमन्ना का दूसरा कदम या रब, हमने दश्ते इम्कां को एक नक्श पा पाया, right? So what is tamanna, right? So this key word in that are many, right? So dusra qadam, of course, tamanna, dashte imkan, or ek nakshipa. There are many interesting aspects to this share. So tamanna is hope, inspiration, khahish, dream, aspiration, right? And he says that the hope leads me to a desert of possibilities where all I see is but one footstep, right? So how do I find my way, right? But he answers it by naming it tamanna. Tamanna is not a plagiarizing act, right? It's your tamanna. So there's no reason. The motivation could be tamanna, and that's the first step that you see as a traveler. But then you have to carve your own path. Those are your steps, right? And the analogy or metaphor he uses of dasht, right? Which is a desert. So what's telling about a human experience in a desert, right? That you're kind of alone, and it's scary, and it's tough, right? But he calls it not just a desert, dasht-e-imkan, it's a desert of possibilities, of potentiality, right? So it's a second step. Pehla step aapne metric, O-level, A-level, FSC with your hand held, yeah, but now you are in this next step, right? Dusra qadam, which I'm going to correct a little, it's not entirely, and it's not ek nakshipa. You're lucky, right? I should have made this presentation 3 years ago when it was literally true. But it's not. It's, as I say, it's nakshaipa. Those of you who know Farsi, it means it's plural. It's more than one naksh. These were the ones who took the first step, the real pehla qadam, right? Or dusra qadam of tamanna. We call them co-founders. They took a chance. We are eternally thankful. Those of you who are here, thank you. They are largely the reason that you're here, right? So we are walking their footstep. See? Just like from 4 billion in 1970 to 7.5 billion now, it's a lot, a much bigger class. This is the next class. Again, you can see many co-founders, they were our pioneers. They took the second step, right? And because of, so the offerings were greater, the campus was more ready. And then trailblazers, you know, just 1 year more senior. These are the ones who are going to torment you the most. Ye aapse immediately bade. Founders don't care, right? Wo to bahut bade ho gaye hain. They don't care about us even. but yeah. And then it's you. It's your turn. It is your turn, pathfinders. It's an interesting term. When we picked it, we didn't realize that this is going to resonate with this particular share, that you will continue to find these new paths. So who are you? Here you're just shadows. But there's some reality. So I'm just going to skim over some facts, right? So this is not to freak out the group that I named up front, the program directors and the deans. It's about 260 of them, right? So this is our largest class. Thank you. And it's half and half, right? So Adhe are in HSS, who have chosen, and half of them are School of Science and Engineering. So a really exciting and uplifting news for all the male students. So there's only 44% of you. Right? So 56% are girls. Right? Fantastic. So we have champions in rowing, people who have already had inventions, scientists, filmmakers, writers. Many of them already have picked some experience in teaching and being a journalist, writing blogs. Very accomplished class. Some of them actually have overcome severe challenges, physical challenges, and they have made it to being in this less than 1% Pakistanis who get to go to the university. So well done. While we are calling you pathfinders and we're showing you the the desert of possibilities or the sea of Dothraki or whatever, it's not without this Dasht-e-Imkan is full of oases. इसमें बहुत से नखलिस्तान है, right? The most nourishing is this. It's a remarkable group, right? Safe to say, I'm obviously biased, perhaps the most interesting in the country as a group, right? Who not only are tremendously accomplished in their fields, but have taken this challenge of creating and carving a new university, that too in the areas which have not been experimented or practiced in this country. So this is our first Nakhlistan. We started off with 18 faculty. We now have 58 already, and we aim to take it to about 80 by the time we stop, right? Because, and we're going to talk a little bit about our curriculum, that how different we are. So we have valued and celebrated scholars from a variety of disciplines, of humanities, of natural sciences, of engineering, of computer science. And the 12-to-1 faculty to student ratio is comparable to any great university in the world, right? So that's our commitment to our students, and it's a great oasis. Apart from creating a unique curricular experience, which we will talk about in the next oasis, they have already created centers and activities which attract some of the best names in global academy, right? And I encourage all of you to find more about that. These are few names written here. Arzu Center, which is a center for language and literature. Oops. Idrak, this is applicable to the entire university, especially for SDP program. And Center for Media and Design, of course, connected largely to Communication and Design program. Because of 12-to-1 faculty ratio and because of their unique passion for students and for teaching, apart from doing their courses, they are available as mentors and as advisors. They are available in their very long faculty office hours as well. They are available informally as members of the community, right? So Habib University, the most telling reflection that we get from our students of the last 3 batches, that they have not heard of or seen any university where faculty is this accessible to students and this supportive. So thank you, all of you. But this is what they have developed, right? And we don't use these terms idly or just as a platitude. This is a paradigm-changing project. This is not how, in Pakistan especially, and in many other parts of the world, I was just talking to, I don't know if he's in the audience or not, a professor from Oxford University who just visited for 5-10 minutes in my office. And he says that they don't do it there. Oxford is one of the world's oldest universities, right? So this is comparable to some of the most resourceful and innovative institutions in the world. Those 2 names, and I encourage again, especially this class and other classes are familiar with that this is how Harvard and Stanford have organized their curriculum. Not merely just as subjects or as disciplines, but as forms of thought and action. So all of you will be engaging while you're studying in different areas and different programs. There's always going to be a curricular reflection drawing you towards thinking like this, historically and socially, philosophically, understanding the value of language and expression, creative practice, which I think Anzar and Gulrez are going to orient you, especially because we have opened this and there's a glimpse of that, a very interesting center for that. Formal reasoning, quantitative reasoning, natural scientific method and inquiry, right? So this is, the breadth itself is so spectacular, so wonderful, that it actually encompasses so many possibilities. So that's why the Dasht-e-Imkan is now becoming a little bit more crystallized. This is the possibility. So at Stanford and Harvard, especially at Stanford, they have encompassed all, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 12, 16,000 of their courses under these or similar forms of thought and action, right? Such is the richness of this particular idea. We think, and we haven't copied, pasted them, right? So this is not just a mimicking job. This has been contextualized deeply, and there are people who are working on it continuously. So whether you're in School of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences or in School of Science and Engineering, these are the common elements that you will go through. Then just in time for that, and I'm sorry, co-founders, that many of you may not be able to benefit from it, but for you, right? That's why it is not just the dusra kadam. You have some hand that has been held for you. You will be able to do a minor in, as I talked about, Sara, English and Comparative Literature, in maths via Anzar's program, in physics, and the minors in Comparative Liberal Studies, which is, by the way, the only program with this title in the world, are going to be offered just in time for you to graduate. So from the Oasis of, also it is kind of tough. It's both desert as well as Oasis because they are difficult programs. This, right? So one of the things, and any country, and I encourage anybody from any other country, and especially in Pakistan listening, that not only it's very important for a university to act as a global platform, to engage with like-minded thinkers and institutions around the world. For a country like Pakistan, for a society like Karachi, it is important that we open these doors to demystify these grand names, right? So if you get to interact and get to go to Stanford or to Harvard or to Michigan or to UC Berkeley, and you realize that you can hold your own and do as good a job as any student there, that's a great step in self-discovery. If we hear scholars like Gayatri Spivak, who is right at the left from Columbia University, one of the most famous professors in the world in post-colonial theory, Wali Nasser, who is the dean at Johns Hopkins, again, a very famous guy, or Thomas Blom Hansen from Stanford University. All three of these pictures are right here in this auditorium, actually standing at this rostrum. That is another act of this demystification, intellectual demystification. One of the issues, and we hear about it, and that's real, that there is this great urge in our young men and women in wanting to leave and get to one of these institutions, right? At Habib University, we have brought these institutions here. Also open the possibilities for all of you to visit there as well, right? So these are not Photoshops. Well, they could be. Right? So I promised our co-founders that they'll get to go to places like Stanford, and they did, right? Then pioneers and trailblazers, actually pioneers, 15 of them went to Stanford, to Michigan, to UC Berkeley. And you will get to, there's another institution added. It's just not Pitzer College, it's 5 colleges. It's a 5-in-1 deal at Claremont, right? And it's a substantial number. Now 20 is 10% of our class. So if 10% of all students all the time are able to go and interact, it's a significant impact, right? And it is not just to go there and be impressed or be dazzled by it. They get dazzled by you. You can talk to the people who are standing in these pictures that how enriching and how on equal footing their experience was in these centers of excellence. So that's another grand feature, and we believe it's another great oasis within this desert of possibilities for you. Then you will require a lot of help, right? And Habib University has invested significantly, human resource-wise, space-wise, in providing these services for students. First and foremost is that how excellence is accessed. Now, this is for all of you, especially for parents, right? This is a really staggering graph, a pie chart, right on this side. This 96% and 4%, right? In Pakistan, of all high school graduations, only 4% come out of international boards. 96% of them still graduate out of local educational boards, right? But only 13% of this 96%, that's why the colors are similar, makes it into top universities, right? There is cost barriers, and then there are other technical barriers. We realize this, right? So first and foremost investment is ensuring that there is greater possibilities of access. So Habib University has one of its kind, what we call the TOPS program. I'm sure there are many other TOPS students here. So the TOPS students are from, as the acronym suggests, they have to be top. They have to be really good students. But Habib University is going to give them full scholarship to be part of our student cohort. And that raises our average from 13 to 25%, because 50 is 25% of the class. So that's our first major investment. And welcome top students. Right? The second is, so what it does, right? So apart from feeling good about ourselves, which we do, this is of vested interest as well, right? So we want to have a really diverse class. This is a teaching-centered or student-centered university, and it relies on the richness of its student body. This sound cloud is not all the areas, so whichever city is not mentioned here or area, I apologize. This was done in a hurry. But this is a bit of a picture, geographical diversity. We've already talked about the overall diversity of male and female. This is the overall. They come from all over the country, and 35% of the class, we are particularly proud of this number, they come from local boards. And 25% of students in School of Science and Engineering are women, which is 5% better than schools of science and engineering in North America, right? So we are already becoming a global leader of the sort in this. Then you have these wonderful offices, right? So Office of Academic Performance. So they are there behind the scenes helping all of you. They are open on weekends, they are open for long hours. You're going to be oriented for, they have many interesting spaces on this campus that you can access. And now we have spruced it up even more, and there is greater investment coming in, more tutors and so on. But this is, again, a great space for academic community building. So a lot of this help will come from your peer tutors. So if you're struggling in any one course, if a group of you are struggling, this office is going to be there to continue to supplement and support. Office of Student Life. Now again, right now, Asif is head. This is essentially central to the cultural expression and of the community that we want to develop. Somewhat a reflective place to think about the academic experience, also to realize and actualize yourself as an individual. We are especially supporting activities relating to performance, drama, rhetoric, which is taqreer and stuff, and music, right? So the students, the parents that I encourage, so if you walk around, Habib University's campus, and we'll talk a little bit about that, is wonderfully built for community interaction. And these activities hopefully are going to be ubiquitous. Office of Health and Wellness. Now we need to make it even more robust, but the fact that we have it is important. That how do we encourage and orient our students to be very mindful of the holistic picture of their health, both physical, intellectual, spiritual, and so on. And this is the office that is coming into focus very rapidly, right? So we need to make a point that Habib University is truly developing potential leaders in industry, as students who are pursuing further academic endeavors, and entrepreneurs. This office is there to facilitate. It is there to merge boundaries. Our curriculum allows us to work seamlessly between what we call real life or industry and the university, and this office is there to continue to connect students with possibilities outside. Physical excellence, right? Now this is a remarkable campus, right? This has come into being as a result of the largest ever grant that has been given in the history of this country by a private philanthropic group for education. So Habib family gave us $50 million, 5 Arab rupaye, to create this. With all the limitations that we had, the area that we were in, and there were, a couple of nalas, and then there's this airport, we worked with it, right? So this is the campus looks like a settlement, right? And it has, in this relatively small 7 acres, we have achieved a lot. So there's this central street, we call it the Street of Memories. All of you will always remember that street. There is lots of community spaces, lots of entertainment and performance spaces. The playground that you're going to go on the 2nd floor is an inspirational, pedagogical inspiration. Library is, one of its kind. It's the largest physical investment that we made because we are a commuting campus. We don't have hostels right here. So we wanted library to be very, very accommodating, that students can stay there long hours. Of course, we have sports facility. This is a remarkable pool, right? As generous as the Habib family is, they were a little jealous of this pool because none of them have it in their home, anything like this, right? And then this urban forest, right? It's a new concept, but it connects us so effectively with nature and hopefully in its purest form. So I've taken you through 4 large oases of this Dasht-e-Imkan. There are so many other mini oases within it, right? So as challenging as this journey is, there is help and there is support, there is compassion, there is inspiration, right? Via these 4 oases. So let's revisit this share, right? How do we interpret the start of something, which is hai kahan tamanna ka dusra qadam ya Rab, and elongate it to the entire journey? So the beauty or the brilliance, I should say, both beautiful brilliance of Asadullah Khan Ghalib is that many times 2 of his ashar, many times 2 of his ghazals, they resonate with each other to give you further interpretation. So which share connects with this? Right. I apologize for a lot of Farsi. Is Dr. Moini here? He would think we've stolen it from Hafiz, right? नाम हर मौज में है हल्का सदका में नहंग देखें क्या गुजरे है कतरे को गौर होने तक. This is a famous ghazal again. आह को चाहिए एक उम्र असर होने तक कौन जीता है तेरी जुल्फ के सर होने तक. Right? The only, with respect, where we differ with Ghalib is that we are not spectators. You are the Qatra right now on August 15, 2017. And you have till May of 2021 to turn yourself into a pearl. Right? But it's not an easy journey, right? It's not an easy journey in the Dasht. It's even harder in an ocean. Right? It says, Dam har mauj mein hai, halka sadqa mein nahang. It's a little dramatic. It says that, there is a trap of 100 crocodiles in every wave. Dr. Francesco, is that halka sadqa mein nahang? It's a crocodile, right? Shark, right? Yeah, here you go. It's even scarier. Sharks, right? Which has even more teeth. देखें क्या गुजरे है कतरे पे गौहर होने तक. So we are not just going to be watching. We're going to be taking this journey with you. And if the waves are too rough and you're thrown around, there's going to be one of the, or many of those oases who are going to be there to help. So the desert of possibilities actually is an ocean of potential. Class of 2021, welcome to your ocean. Happy snorkeling, swimming, whatever you're going to do, but we are right here with you in that. Thank you.